finally broken 70 degrees in New York. So I feel like it's summer. Summer's coming. It's been very wet and kind of
Right.
gross.
I feel it too. It's exciting.
It's very exciting. Okay, so without further ado, since we're all in the room, I want to just start with introductions. Remy, do you want to begin with your intro, and then Darren will kick it off to you?
Yes, my name is Remy Bader. I am a content creator and curve model. That is my intro. But I'm also a size consultant and brand ambassador for Victoria's Secret Pink.
Amazing. Thank you for coming today and joining us on this fine Sunday.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
And Darren?
Oh, it's much. I'm Darren Barnet. I'm an actor. Recently producer, I guess, as well, which is exciting. And I am the, not my words, but I guess the first male celebrity, as they say it, brand ambassador for the gender neutral line for Pink. Very, very, I feel like I want to like skeeve out when I call myself celebrity, but those are not my words. So yeah, we're here and we're doing it, talking about some mental health today.
Own it. You like own it. That's amazing. Pink has been doing some great things. So to kick off the conversation, I'm going to dive deep as I possibly can with the mental health with you all for the next few minutes. And I want to kick things off by just like sharing, like we often get kind of looped into speaking about the negatives of health, like the struggles, the sad story, the story of why we're going through what we're going through. But we have to also understand that our mental health drives everything in our lives, our hopes, our dreams, our relationships. And it's important to speak about the things that are actually helping us. So this month, Pink is partnering with their nonprofit partners, which is one of them is Sad Girls Club, and they have established Make Your Move, which is a way to celebrate things that can help boost and protect our mental health that are research backed. And I think it's a really important initiative because there's been a lot of talk about exposure, but like this is something that is not only getting exposure, but it's also evoking action. So it's super important and it's a super positive thing. And on that note, I want to jump into my first question. Whomever feels most inclined or inspired by the first question can answer. What's the most important thing or the biggest thing that you do to protect your mental health?
I guess I'll go.
Right.
I feel like not that I do a great job of it, but when I do, I think that sleep is probably the most important thing for me. Like it dictates my mood, my whole entire day. And I feel like when I do get a good amount of sleep, that helps me. And I feel like also I've turned with working out and like the Peloton specifically, like I used to do it for like the idea of like burning calories or things like that. Like now I genuinely do it because it just makes my brain clearer. If I wake up and I have anxiety, like that's the first thing that I know that will help me. So moving my body, whether it's even if I'm just kind of like stuck inside and in like a funk, just going for a walk, like things like that have really helped me in my mental health, especially because like I'm filming videos all day and just inside most of the day. Like it's really important to like remember to get up and move.
Yes, that is so.
Everyone's going nuts here in the comments. I just want to take a moment and say hi to everyone and thank you everyone for being here.
Hey guys.
For me, Remy, Peace, we're very happy to have you guys. Good to see you. Yeah, so same thing on like physical activity. I definitely I've learned that I always take it as a coincidence, you know, like when I'm like, if I'm working out a couple days a week and just maintaining a good activity level, like I'm just in a better place. And then when I don't do it, I'm always wondering like, man, why is my head so messed up? And then I realize it's really about, it's not just about like physical activity, it's about just like the routine of it, you know, like having something to look forward to every day that you do that like keeps you active is nice. But something else I really feel like has changed a lot for me in the past like 3 years, was the way I wake up in the morning, because it used to be, and it's really easy to wake up in the morning and the first thing you want to do is look at your phone and you see you have like 15 missed texts, you have emails to answer, you have stuff to look at on social media, and it's very easy to just feel like you're already behind and catching up when you do that. You know, like looking at, oh, on Instagram, why am I not in Mykonos like this person? Why am I not fit like this person? Why am I not stylish and on the street like whatever, you know? So instead of doing that, I'd wake up, and I'm not perfect on this. I try to be, but waking up in like the first hour I wake up, I don't look at my phone, and I sit in bed, and before I get out of bed, I say like thank you for like 10 things, like, you know, my 10 fingers, my 10 toes, my 2 eyes, my 2 ears, like the small things that like every day, you know, like you're like we kind of take for granted when you have them, but then you think like not everyone has 2 arms and 2 legs, and like these are things that like when you start small, like they start small, but they're actually really big. Throughout the day, the problems that I face are just a little bit smaller and easier to handle. So just starting with small like measures of gratitude when I wake up really makes the whole day a little bit easier, if that makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense. I feel like that's
My answer looks so much worse than yours. That was such a good answer.
no, they both are really important, because you do
All night, all right?
with us home and like us being inside all the time, like we don't really go outside. It's important to at least move your body, even if you don't go outside, or like get some type of like exercise and movement. And also like to detach from social media and what everyone else wants from you, because you have to be able to pour into yourself first before anybody else gets any other part of you. So they're both really important, to be honest. And Remy, you've done like an amazing job building a platform around speaking up about moments and places, often when you were like out shopping, where you felt like you weren't represented in like the imagery or the sizing. What really like pushed you to start this conversation or to build a platform, creating space for these conversations, and how has that changed how you perceive yourself and the rest of the world?
I think I've always just like had these frustrations around my size and shopping, and it like became this difficult, frustrating thing when it was like, when it shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be like that. And I also felt very alone with having those thoughts until I had this platform and realized how many people feel the exact same way that I do when they're having these shopping experiences or struggling to find things that fit them. It's like that should be an enjoyable experience. So I think if anyone who hasn't followed me or doesn't follow me, like I never really planned for this to happen and to get such a, you know, big platform, and I'm so grateful that I have. But I really think it was like me even just making videos for my friends at first, never thinking people would see them, of just like, again, speaking about those frustrations about how like we feel like we have to look exactly like the model online, and that we quite possibly will never look that way, exactly what, you know, we're supposed to be. And, you know, again, just talking about my struggles, and I put a little bit of humor into it to kind of lighten it all up a little. And you know, the feedback I've gotten is so crazy, in a very positive way, of just one, you know, building that community and realizing like we all, no matter what size you are, so many people feel the exact same way and are going through the same thing. And it's like, let's just keep talking about it and keep having these conversations, because the more we're vocal about it, it's starting to work. Brands are starting to listen. And you know, I think that obviously inclusivity in fashion is very important to me, and I'm hoping that there's a lot more of it in, you know, the next few months and so on. So I just want to keep talking about it. Like I never thought that people would really like the conversation and get so excited about it, but I mean, I'm very passionate about it also. So I think it's awesome to have something I'm passionate about, but also like this many people listening and being a part of it.
It definitely comes across as like passion in your content, and just like it's very authentic. Like this is your experience, but the fact that so many people have migrated towards your experience because they share it, and you're like a voice for this community, that's incredibly powerful. And like, thank you for just speaking out. And yes, amazing. And Darren, you've been very vocal as well about being a part of the Asian community, and where they are often miss or underrepresented. Can you share with us about how that impacts your mental health and why this needs to change?
You know, that's an interesting question for me, because I've, you know, my entire life I've been like the ambiguous one, where like sometimes people pick me out as being, you know, Asian American, but you know, a lot of the time it's like people just can't guess. So I am kind of like, oh, we don't know what he is. I for a million things. But I have realized, like, in my life too, it's like when I've had, when I have, like, let's say like a group of white friends, my Asian heritage has always been like a topic of discussion. Like, not saying I've been made fun of for it, but it's always been like oh, you're Japanese, and it's always brought up, which I've always loved because I'm super proud of it. But then, like, when I've had a group of Asian friends, it seems to be the opposite, where it's like my, European side comes up. And so it's like I've never really fit into a box, and I can't say it's been like a huge struggle or deterrent for me. So, like, I can't, sometimes I feel like, a little bit shy to, like, speak of it, because I feel like, sometimes I feel like in some way people are gonna be like, oh, you're not Asian enough to, like, really speak on this, or some people are like, oh, but you are, so why don't you? So it's like this weird trying to find like a box there. But then I realized myself that there's a whole part of representation there itself. Like, there's so many people that don't just fit into a box anyway. And I have plenty of friends that are part Asian, more of a percentage than I am, and some of them look more white than I do, and it's always like this weird, like, where do you fit type thing. But in terms of, like, just representation of, like, Asian Americans in film and television, I love where it's going right now. It's I mean, I grew up watching crazy, like, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, like, all these things. So, like, I always thought growing up, like, oh, being Asian's cool, because, like, what I was watching was, like, Asian men, like, kicking people's butts on camera, and I was like, this is really cool. But as I gotten older, I have seen and been aware more of, like, the stereotypes of it, of, like, just Asian culture in media. And I love where it's going right now. I think it's you're starting to see, like, Asian American romantic leads. He's the guy that gets the girl. He's not just the attendant at the store, or some, like, side caricature of a character. And yeah, I think it's really important, not just for Asian Americans, but just for the fact that, like, you talk of, like, America, and it's like being an American person is, like, I think that's a definition that everyone, it has a meaning, when the meaning is there is no, like, color to it. There is no, like, you can be an Asian man with a thick accent, from your native country, but you're still an American. So that itself, I think, is what needs to be more addressed, is, like, the American thing is not, like, the, polo wearing cowboy, whatever, that's out in the field tending, farm. Like, that's kind of where I'm going with it. But I don't know if I'm going on a rant, but yeah, it's nice seeing the representation. I'm proud to be a part of the movement, and I'm proud that I've been, and I have so much. I'm so thankful I've been, like, accepted by the Asian community in that capacity. It's opened up a lot of doors. It's made me even more proud of my heritage, and I look forward to exploring it and being more immersed in it.
Yes, and that's so important, because you are not only, like, taking a space in a world where represented, but you're also speaking out about, like, the complexities of your roles, or, like, why you're in the seat you're in, but you're also calling things out. And I think that's so important to, like, evoke change, because people have been so complacent for so long. Like, yourself and Remy, you guys are like, no, like, this is wrong. Like, we need to start talking about this and changing. Our voices are so powerful, and these brands understand and know how important and powerful our voices are. So continue telling our stories, because this really is dope to watch. Like, it's really cool to see, like, how things are shifting slowly, but, like, they're powerful, because I know people who watch you and listen to both of you, they see themselves in your story. So shout out to y'all. And I want to just ask this follow-up question, like, how does representation affect your mental health, or how do you think it affects the mental health of your fans, just seeing you all on screen, or just hearing the conversations you're having on your platforms? You want to kick it off for me?
Can you say the question again? I'm sorry.
How does representation affect the mental health of either yourself, or how do you think it affects the mental health of your community?
Well, representation in my, like, about size for me, is that what? Yeah, no, I just feel like that's, I mean, the most important is, like, why, I feel like people relate to me because I am the consumer. Like I'm one, you know, doing exactly what people are looking for. So I'm like a larger girl just like going through, you know, everyday life and dealing with these things that all these other people are dealing with the same exact thing. And I think that people just seeing that and being able, like I said, to have a platform where people can listen to that is helpful for all of them. Like someone having a larger body that has a voice and that people are able to listen to.
Amazing. I agree.
Same question.
Yeah, same question.
Word it again for me. I'm sorry.
I was saying representation affects the mental health of your community.
Yeah, so you know, I was thinking about that, and it's like, you know, when I said too, like, you know, it's like, again, I wasn't the kid that was like, oh, I wasn't seeing, you know, Asian American men represented, and then I felt downtrodden because of it a lot as a kid, because again, like I fit this ambiguous box. But I do remember now thinking back and looking like, oh, you know, I was actually scared I wasn't going to be able to like become an actor, because I would look online and like there were people I was looking at, like, I don't know, like Channing Tatum, like Brad Pitt, Tom Welling, like whatever at the time, and it was like all these dudes are like 6'1" and like white with like blue eyes, and like they're like this romantic lead, and like there's Matthew McConaughey or whatever, and I was a little bit discouraged. I was like, man, like I don't look like this. I'm not in this box. And like, it really kind of messed me up for a while, because I was like, I guess I can't see myself doing that. So I think it, like it's great for like, you know, representation in general. I feel like people watch what we do as artists because they want, you know, they need an escape sometimes, or a distraction from reality, or just to feel good, or to find like an inspiration to believe in themselves. You know, like there's nothing more beautiful than a kid watching like, you know, Spider-Man or like some type of superhero movie, and then coming out of the theater and like they're like shooting their like little fake webs around, and it's like them thinking like, I could be a superhero, like believing like I could be more than what I am, and it inspires them, and it gets the imagination going, and it's brilliant. I think that's what we make. That's why I do this. That's why I love doing it. So to take it a step further and make it something that a kid, as he grows older, can really actually like see himself doing because of representation is even more beautiful. You know, and I think it's very important, and I love, you know, being a part of that conversation and trying to move that forward.
Powerful. You both are like, I don't know, I wish I was this like woke back in the day, but this has been like a really, really hard topic. Like mental health is something that I wish we just spoke about for like, or shed a spotlight on for longer than May. Like, of course, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, but I just want to empower everyone watching to like, just understand that your voices are powerful, understand that your process is powerful, and understand that these people who are on this live with me are changing and shifting culture for the better. And I'm so grateful to be here in conversation with them. I'm going to jump into a couple of questions. We have about 36 proposals for Darren. And then we have from, I can't pronounce the name, I think Carla A. Garcia. How do you avoid people who talk down on you? I guess negative talk from peers or anyone that's just around you.
I mean, it's very hard to being on social media. I feel like for me, and I'm not going to answer for Darren, but I feel like we have obviously different, you know, he's an actor and isn't kind of probably staring at his screen and his phone screen all day. Me being on social media, it's really hard to not, you know, look at the comments and the things people say. And there's obviously, you're never going to have everyone that likes you and agree with what you're saying and putting out there. So there is, you know, definitely some negativity that comes with this, and it does affect my mental health a lot. I think just doing the best I can to try and look at the positives over the way fewer negatives that there are out there, and the negative things that people are saying, because I know that I have a purpose and I'm passionate about what I talk about, and I know that it's doing some good in the world. So I just have to keep reminding myself of that, as hard as it can be. So yeah, I mean, I think I just have to remember that there's way more good than bad. And I'm, you know, happy to be doing what I'm doing.
Love that.
I'm learning as I grow older that like one of the greatest superpowers I think you can learn is to not take anything personally. So it's like it's so easy, like, you know, when someone talks down to you and you get upset and you react, you're immediately giving them what they came to do, and they've won at this point, you know. So it's like I'm I used to get so I'm still like a very sensitive person, and obviously things still get to me. I'm not like impenetrable, but like it's made it a lot easier now when it's like, instead of looking at like, why did they say this to me? What am I lacking that made them say this? What have I done that made them say this? I look at people where I'm like, man, you must really be hurting to need to hurt someone else so much. And, you know, and when I try to face it with empathy, like, what's wrong with you that you feel the need to try and hurt me? And you approach it like that, and you kind of like, you know, they're talking down to you, but you in a way are looking down on them for doing it. It kind of switches the roles. So I really, you know, try to face it with empathy and try to face it with understanding of, this is not me you're attacking. This is a part of yourself you're attacking. And I really pray that that part of yourself heals so you don't feel the need to do this to other people. And it's really hard. It's not easy, but with some practice, it becomes easier. And I think it's a great power and tool to have. So
I think that it's awesome that, like, the way you say that, I feel like you've been doing this a lot longer than me, and it's like, I'm just hoping that I grow a little tougher skin, because it's like, that's, being honest is everything I want to do on my platform. So when people ask me things like this, it's like, all I with it, it's hard to, again, like, see opinions from so many people, different people in the world, that just might not, you know, agree with what you're saying, or, you know, might just talk down on you for being you and looking like what you look like. It's hard to see that. But I think the way, you know, that's what I try, the way you explained it and how I try and think about it. Like, it's not about me, it's about them. So it's just, you know, I'm a sensitive person too. So it's like, you know, it just gotta roll with it and keep doing what we're supposed to be doing.
People go for the throat sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know me. Like, what have I done to you? You know, but again, it's their issue. You're doing what you're doing. And here's the thing. When they're commenting and saying those bad things, they're still watching you. They're still a fan.
Right.
That's true.
So, hey.
It's all a reflection of them, for sure. Those are some great answers. I'm like taking notes over here. I'll do one last. And also, like, when people talk bad about you, like, it's definitely a reflection of what they're experiencing. You just have to understand that they're way behind in their journey and you're at this point. So everything that Darren said is like perfect. If you approach it with empathy and take yourself out of it, it really does help to like remove this sting a little bit. But I don't know, you can get 100 positive comments and one negative, and that negative will like haunt you in your dream.
Right.
Ruin it, you know, if you let it.
If you let it, exactly. Okay, we have time for one more question. And this one is a bit layered, but I think you have the beautiful minds to answer this. This is from Steph, Tiny Dancer. What do you think of mental health in the workplace? How can we ensure work-life balance and making sure your managers or people you work with respect your work-life balance?
So, I mean, for me, I'm, you know, someone that I work at home and I'm alone doing what I'm doing every day. It's definitely different than when I used to work in like a corporate setting and, you know, be sitting in an office for, you know, 10 or so hours. But now it's almost more interesting being in a social media job, because I genuinely feel that I work and my mind is moving 24/7. Like, it's just constant. And I love that. I love being able to respond to all of my followers and, like, you know, just, I love being on social media and, again, having this platform. But I'm learning now how important it is to have that balance, and that, like, I do need to try, and I've been trying different things. Like, I'm trying to find what works for me, whether that's putting my phone away for 2 hours before I go to bed so I'm not staring at it, you know, all night. Like, that's hard for me. Like, I just want to be so engaged with everyone. I feel like that's like my point of what I try and do. But, like, you know, like all of this then comes with, again, me maybe not sleeping or me working too much and overworking my brain, and I do get exhausted. And I think I'm really, really trying now to just, like, honestly, in the past month told myself, like, there are certain things I need to, you know, stand my ground with and make time for me. I'm actually speaking obviously on mental health and stuff. I'm very open about how I struggle with binge eating the past 2 years, and I finally decided to do like a very you know, intensive 6 week pre-starting. That's going to be taking up a lot of my time, and my managers and everyone on my team is super on board with it and respecting that I need to, like, really just, you know, make myself feel a little bit better in order to give so much of myself to everyone else.
That was a great answer, and this is a wild question, to be honest. I'm like, you know, I'm going back to like when I was working, like I've worked 9 to 5s. I've worked in a factory before, and I've worked as a, you know, where I had like a certain job where it was like, it's a hard answer because, like, you know, some people have 9 to 5, and it's like if your manager calls you after that time, you're like, yo, like, you don't have to pick up. But then there's other jobs where you're like, let's say you're trying to climb up the ranks, and that person calls you, you want to answer and make a good impression because you want to be the person next in line for a promotion. Like, I understand these things, so I want to answer this in a way where people aren't like, you don't get it because you don't have that type of job, you know. But it's like, I think it's really about, like, you know, when you have time to yourself, like I said, when I wake up in the morning, the first hour I don't look at my phone. Last hour before I go to bed, I don't look at my phone. Really make those times about you and not other people. Like, don't make it about catching up with friends or phone calls like socially and or getting on social media. Like, really make it about you, reflecting on you and what you want. And also, like, this again seems like a move. Some people are like, yo, but if I did this I would get fired. But like, let's say a manager or someone is taking advantage of your time and asking you to do things that are off the clock and this and this and that. I would say, if you know what you're worth, go out and get what you're worth, and tell these, you know, stand up and say, listen, if you want my time to do these things, then pay me, you know, or talk to me during business hours respectfully. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I think the worst you can get really is a no. And if you got fired for that, I apologize, but it's also probably not the job you want to be doing anyway. So maybe down the line, it would be better for you. But I don't think any amount of money, any amount of success, any amount of promotions in your workplace are worth it if they are making you miserable. Because when you look back later on down in life, you're gonna regret the times you spent miserable. So.
Right. And I do think a lot of that changed during the pandemic too. Like, I do feel that people are able to have, you know, somewhat a little bit more, I can't speak for everyone, but like, of this work-life balance, because everything has changed. You know, people aren't sitting in their offices as often, you know, for 10, 12, whatever hours. Like, and I think that people are starting to stand their ground. And like, I think this even past year has been so, you know, mental health has been such an important topic on social media, just on TV, everywhere, wherever you look. So I feel like people are, you know, able to be like, I need this balance to make myself better and myself better in this job or whatever I'm doing. And I think people are doing it, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about communicating, like, what your boundaries are. And then when people try to cross them, which they will, you just reinforce, like, hey, remember we had that conversation last Tuesday? Like, this is why we had that. So I think just communicating what you're experiencing and like why it's wrong, why it's maybe out of your job description, and then like circling back to those conversations and
yeah, you got to know when to put your foot down, because if you're the person that is willing to do everything and anything for your employer, you may get a gold star, but most likely you're just going to be the person that they know will do whatever they want whenever they want.
Yeah.
So, and that's can be a good and a horrible thing, but most of the time you're just going to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to thank you both for joining us for this special Mental Health Awareness Month conversation. I also want to remind viewers that Pink has launched the Pink with Purpose Project. It's the 4th annual Pink with Purpose Project, where 10 young adults will be granted $25,000 each to fund their dream project that falls under the pillars of people, purpose, and plan. And we are 3 of the judges. So
Yes.
we've been very vulnerable with you. Like, please be vulnerable with us. And like, you can also enter and find more information at BS Pink on Instagram and on the Pink. So
We're very excited to act. We're really going to be looking through all your submissions. I'm excited about it, and we're gonna, be helping to choose the winners. So definitely apply. It's gonna be very exciting.
I'm excited. Ideas, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be, I cannot wait. I'm very much looking forward to it. So yes, submissions, they are open, right? Yeah, they're open.
Yeah, for the 31st. So you have a couple weeks to submit. There's like a video submission. There's a couple written questions. It's like super easy. But we really I'm excited to give away this money to people and help fund their dreams. Like, it's so important and it's so impactful. And I'm happy to be doing it with you too. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all for watching and checking in and tapping in from all over the world. I've seen the comments
Thank you guys. Yeah, for all of your
from all over. Darren, you have I told you about 30 proposals. A lot of love in the DMs as well. People are just swooning over both of you. And thank you for the amazing work that you all are doing.
You too.
Judgment Day. But have a great rest of your day and take care.
You too.
Too.
Thanks, everyone. Nice seeing you guys. Bye, guys. Thanks so much. All right.